Hello first graders. For this marker mixing lesson, we are going to experiment with markers and water and letting the marker colors mix together with the water. So for this lesson, you're going to need a couple different materials. You're going to need some white paper. If you have white drawing paper, that would be perfect. If you have thinner paper like photocopy paper or printer paper, that's fine too. You're also going to need a paper plate. If you don't have a paper plate or some sort of plate, then you will need some extra paper to protect your table surface. I also would like you to have markers because again, we're going to be mixing markers. I would like you to have a pencil, a pair of scissors. We are going to need water because again, we need the water to mix the markers. And I would also like you to have a paintbrush. If you don't have a paintbrush, that's okay. You can still complete this activity. And the last thing I would like you to have is a circle tracer, something that is a perfect circle. It could be a roll of tape like I have here. It could be a smaller plate. It could be some sort of container, anything that is a perfect circle. So once you have all those materials, we can get started. The first thing I would like you to do is take your pencil and your circle tracer and very carefully trace your circle. So I'm going to put the circle tracer in the middle of my white paper, and I'm going to hold that down with my hand, and then with the other hand I'm going to put the pencil nice and straight and go around my circle tracer. If I bump into my hand, that's okay. I can just jump over and finish tracing my circle. After I have traced my circle, then you're going to use your scissors to cut your circle out. When you cut your circle, you're going to use tiny little cuts. And you're also going to use your other hand to turn the paper. So I'm going to be turning the paper, and I'm going to be using those little cuts. Just do my best to stay on that line. We really want to try to have a perfect circle. So take your time cutting and try your best to stay on that line. And the best way to do that, again, is by turning with your hand and using those little tiny snips. After you have cut out your circle, you do not need the scrap paper, so you can recycle that. And the next step is to add color to our perfect circle. So again, this is a marker mixing lesson, so you will need markers. If you don't have Mr. Sketch markers like I have, and you have Crayola or any other kinds of markers, that is perfectly all right. So when you add color to your circle, you may use any colors that you would like. This is your art, so whatever colors you would like. You might want to do lighter colors like yellows and oranges and pinks. You might want to do darker colors like purples and blues. It's kind of up to you. You can think of a pattern like the Kandinsky with starting it with a little circle in the middle and going around and around, or you could do lines from your circle. It's kind of up to you, however way you want to do it. You could draw something. You could maybe turn your circle into a flower. It's really up to you. So you can use lines, shapes, any type of drawing, but your goal is to color most of the circle in, okay? You can also, believe it or not, just scribble, okay? There really is no right or wrong to this. The biggest thing you want to do is add color to your circle, and you're going to be adding that color with marker for this lesson. Okay, once you have added as as much color as you would like, okay? Then what you're going to do is you are going to take that circle and place it on your paper plate. If you do not have a plate or a paper plate available, you can use extra paper underneath your drawing so that it protects the table surface, because the next step is a little bit messy. We're going to be adding water to our drawing, and what's going to happen is that marker is going to move. In art, it's called bleeding together or mixing. If you have a paintbrush, this is the best way to add water, okay? It keeps your water right onto your drawing. If you don't have a paintbrush, then you can very carefully just drip a little water onto your art. But if you do have a paintbrush, you're going to dip it into the water. You don't need to wipe because we want lots of water, and you're going to very carefully move that water around your drawing. And you can already see that my colors are bleeding together or mixing together. They're going to even mix even more when my art dries. So after you have added the water to your circle marker drawing, you're going to then find a safe place to place your art to dry. We are going to use these next week, so please make sure that you save your mixed watercolor circle for next week's art lesson. Have fun, artists!